lost track of the days since you've entered my life. They all think that we're crazy. I tell them they're right. You've been on my mind. You've been on my mind. I won't say it, I won't say it, I won't say it. I won't let you go all alone. Keep me inside. I'm strung out, full of doubt. You keep me alive. With a smile on your face and the hair in your eyes. I won't let you go this time. I won't let you go. I won't let you go all alone. Keep me inside. I'm strung out, full of doubt. You keep me.
This is Bill Howes. I'd like to defend myself against Roy Nunn's accusation. I want to say I never did anything out of character, and if Roy wants to meet me on the field of battle, I'll be happy to meet him.
Hello, I'm Georgia Jones-Hennig from Class of 63, and it's great to see everybody, see how healthy everybody is, and I just had an interesting day driving around Chatham, and I went to the high school, I went to Southern Boulevard School, and I went to our old houses, and I just think we grew up in such a fun little, wonderful little neighborhood. It made me realize the distance wasn't so far. I drove up Fairmount Avenue, and I used to have to always walk home from school, and I thought it was so far, and I drove it today, I realized it was a cute little town. We're all lucky we grew up here.
Hello, John. I'm Bruce Morris. I was almost with the class of 63 Chatham High School because just between my junior and senior years, my dad was transferred with his job, so I never completed Chatham High. I never went to my senior year at Chatham High. I went to a school in Pennsylvania. But I still consider Chatham High my high school. I still maintain close contact with some of the folks. We get together twice a year. I presently live in northeastern Ohio. Still working, but hope to retire at the end of this summer.
Hello, my name is Ken Klein. I'm in the Chatham High School class of 1963. And this would be my story. My parents both attended Chatham High School, and they both graduated from Chatham High School, and their graduation date was 1937. They were both seniors in the same class, and they got married a short time after. Well, I shouldn't say a short time, but they got married after my dad returned from the war in Chatham. So, then, I grew up in Chatham, and I spent all my years in the Chatham school, and I figured that because my parents married each other from the senior class, I would be expected to do the same. So the pressure was on. Before I graduated, I had to find somebody who was also a graduate of Chatham High School who I could marry so I could keep up the tradition of my parents. Well, I was fortunate enough to go out with a young woman from my class. Although our first date was about at this time of year, 50 years ago, we had that first date, it was okay, and then we also went to the prom, and then we graduated, and that was it. However, we did continue to stay together, and 5 years later, 4 or 5 years later, we were married, and been together ever since, 50 years. So we maintain the tradition of our parents. We're two classmates from the same class, of course, who married as my parents did. The tradition mentioned the wonderful woman I married. I married Karen Rollator, and we've had a wonderful 50 years, and we're looking forward to the future and this.
I'm Bill McShane, Chatham High School, class of 63, and I had some wonderful buddies and wonderful memories with those buddies in 1963. I knew this wonderful guy named John Rumsey, who got a 1955 Chevy, and as did I. His was in better shape than mine, so he had a lot more of the females following him than followed me. One of my other buddies was Vulture, who was a.k.a. Bill Cliff, who came to this reunion. Bill is a retired hippie and still goes to India once a year. My brother Brian, the Claw, arrived and has joined the festivities this evening. Let's see. Well, I have to say that the senior year I spent with the class of '63 was a pivotal time in my life. And the friends I made there, and it's wonderful to reunite with them here this evening.
Be it resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough in the County of Morris and the State of New Jersey that May 31st, 2013 through June 2nd, 2013 is hereby proclaimed as the Chatham High School Class of 1963 weekend. Be it further resolved that the Mayor and the Borough Council extend to all the members of the Chatham High School Class of 1963 best wishes and a sincere welcome back to Chatham. Enjoy the weekend.
Say a few words, right? I've been retired for 13 years now, and I don't get a chance to speak at all, except to my grandchildren, who don't want to listen to me anyway. And I find that I now need notes, so forgive me. I'll reach for my notes. A dozen eggs. I think I got it right here. Right? Actually, this is also my first time here. I'm now a forged member of the class. You notice that diploma that I was given in the 45th reunion. So thank you for inviting me to be a member of the class. It is a pleasure for us to be here. Helen and I look forward to coming here for many reasons, and one is that I just love this class. You meant so much to me. If you look around, that many of you were in my class, and many of you, in fact, I counted at least 12 or 13 that were in summer theater with me. And we had the first high school affiliated summer theater in the state of New Jersey. And now there are others. So I come here to apologize to all of you, those who were in class and those who were in summer theater, that I apologize for accusing you of nasal vowels. And I apologize for insisting on your using word endings. And I apologize for requiring structure in your speeches and forcing you to speak standard American English. And I really shouldn't have done this because I'm from southern New Jersey, where we still say, "Are you ready to order?" I always want to respond, "We's ready to order." But you will forgive me also, for those of you in theater and summer theater and the class play, asking you to play character roles when you knowingly wanted to play the male lead, even though you were female. So forgive me for doing all kinds of things to you. And forgive me too for 50 years ago, I said I wouldn't have told you this, but there is an arrogance in language, and there is an arrogance in pronunciation. And forgive me for tampering with your identity, because that's exactly what it does when you tamper with someone's pronunciation. And I wouldn't have told you this 50 years ago, but there's a story, a true story of a man sitting on a park bench who happened to be a speech teacher. The young man sat next to him and said, "Hey, mister, look at that boy over there." And the speech teacher said to him, "Young man, I want you to listen to me. That is not a boy, that is a bird." And the young man said, "That's funny, mister, because it certainly chirps like a boy." So forgive me, if you like to go back to Detroit being like a boy, don't do it. And then now, in all seriousness, because I still have about 30 seconds of my 15 minutes, I married my sweetheart, Helen, my college sweetheart, Helen, 2 weeks before I came to teach in Chatham. And that was very fortunate because it kept me from falling in love with all the women in this class. Almost. But I want to tell you this, that I have just loved all the moments we had together. And I want to thank you, as we just heard from Brian and Jane, for all those wonderful memories. Thank you.
Just a couple of cleanup things. I've become aware over the last couple of weeks that some of the classmates and their spouses are not in good health. They could not attend this event with us. And I would like to ask you to keep them and all our deceased members in your thoughts and prayers during the coming weeks. We wish them all good health and full recovery so that they can be with us at the 55th. Right now, we're getting very close to the end, pages left. We have a history book that we put together, a memorial book, and I'd like the committee, if they could, to start distributing that to every classmate. It has a number of items in it, the alma mater, and it has pictures of the memoriam, and it has a CD with all the music that you have heard and will hear tonight. So that you can go home, play it on your computer. You can't throw it in your car radio unless you have a brand new car that will play MP3s. But I'm sure your grandkids can convert it to whatever you want. Most of you know from Steve Dungan the story. I'm not going to repeat it here. But, Pam, just so you know, and Steve, you've been... Don't say it. If you don't know the story, ask your closest classmate. They will relate to what the story is. Anyway, let me turn on the dance music and have a good time, and thank you for coming.
Last year, my friend Dave, who had just lost his wife, wasn't going to go to his 50th reunion. Well, we talked him into it, and he went, and while he was there, he met Sue, his high school sweetheart, who unfortunately, her husband had also recently passed away. So they connected, reconnected, ate, drank, danced, had a great time. And toward the end of the night, he said, Sue, you know, this has been so wonderful. We always got along. Why don't we just get married and spend the rest of our lives together? And she said, that's a great idea. Let's do it. So they traded phone numbers, went their separate ways, and he called her the next morning. He said, Sue, my hearing's not so good. When I asked you to marry me, did you say yes or no? And she said, oh. I said, yes, of course. But I'm really glad you called because my memory's not so good and I've forgotten who asked me.